Okay, let's do some CSS. So now, if we look at our page, we can see that it already has some content in it, but it's not really the best looking page right now. And if we go to something like AWWW Awards, which is a page presenting the most beautiful sites in the internet, how do you even go? We can already see that we're far from away in the terms of looks when it comes to our site. Whoa, this is crazy. Nice. Okay, so our site isn't good looking. It's pure HTML, and to make it beautiful as this site, we need to use cascading style sheets language to bring some love and color to our beautiful site. Okay, so first things first. Let's create a folder, clicking here, or you can just click right and choose new folder. Please enter source, and here we'll create main CSS file. Okay, and we need to actually talk a little bit about the syntax of CSS because it's way different than HTML. So basically, in the most basic state, CSS looks like this. It has a selector, then you do curly braces, and then you have property name, and then property value. Okay, so let's break this down. What do I mean by a selector? So there are many types of selector, but the most basic is HTML tag, HTML element selector. So for example, if I would like to style the paragraph tag in my site, its name is P. So I can tell that my selector is P. And what about the properties? Well, there are many. I don't know if I know them all, definitely not. But if we search for CSS properties list, okay, let's go here, for example. Yeah, here's the full list of all properties. And as you can tell, there's a lot, but don't worry, we will teach them, we will learn them as we need them, okay? But those can be grouped in some basic groups. For example, there are properties for building layouts like flex and grid. There are properties for colors, dimensions, properties for fonts, and box models. I'm just looking through my notes. And I'll try to explain a little bit about each of those groups. I will leave out the layouts because we'll get there farther down the road. But starting with colors. Okay, let me just comment this. The most basic property, is color, which is used to style the color of the text of given element. So if I do color red, and I will reload my page, you can see that nothing happens. And why is that? Well, I just created some random file, but my HTML doesn't know anything about it. So we need to connect those, and I can do that by choosing link CSS. Okay, and now I can point to src main CSS, and now we can see that the p elements are being colored to red. Okay, so that's nice. The second property regarding the color is, of course, background color. And I don't like this white background, and I can change it for whole my page. Seeing that the root of my page is HTML, I can use that selector and choose background color light green. Let's try and see how this works for us. Okay, kind of strange, but we have it working. Okay, so the color properties are color for coloring the text and background color for coloring the background of an element. And if I just, let's leave it, but I can override the properties. Meaning I told my CSS file to color everything green, because cascading style sheets are being inherited from the parent to the children, and HTML, of course, is the parent, the most top parent on our page, so every single element will inherit this. But I can override CSS property in each element by saying background color should be blue violet for P element. And now I can see that the elements that are paragraphs are getting their value of background overwritten. Okay, so remember, you can override properties, and that's cool because you can style the most top element, and everything will go down to its children, and then just tweak the values of properties for the children that you would like to change. Okay, as I was typing the colors, you could tell that these are named colors, and we can find a list of named colors. CSS named colors. And they are here. Okay, so nice. But as you can already see, I can provide the value using the RGB function, where I specify the value from 0 to 255 for red color, blue color, and for red color, green color, and blue color. Or I can provide this special hex code for color value. And if I type color picker, I can see that there are lots of color to choose from, and each and single one, let me just find another color picker tool. Oh, this is great. Okay, and each and single one has a RGB value and hex value, so I don't need to stick to the colors that are named. And let me just choose this cool violet, light violet something. Okay, I can copy it to the clipboard and specify it here, as I said, using, well, not that. I think of it, sorry. And specify it using RGB. Okay. Okay, so it's RGB, open parenthesis, value for red, value for green and blue. And as you can see, Visual Studio Code is nice enough to show the color picker for us if we specify RGB. Okay, let's see how it looks. Oh, I changed it for P. What I meant to do actually was to take it here. This is not needed anymore. Okay, now we have this cool background. So this is how we can work with background color. I will also change this to white or FFF. Yeah, if you specify the hex code and all of the letters in the hex code are the same, you can specify just the first three, and the browser will automatically understand that you wanted the color with all letters, all 6 letters having the same value. And this range from 0 to F, so it's 0 to 9, and then from A to F to specify the hex value. Okay. Okay. So now it's looking like this. The next thing that I'd like to change is the actual font, because if you press the second mouse button, right mouse button, and go to inspect, I can see in computed, so the rendered, oh sorry, you don't see it, that's a shame because of my face. Now you can see that the rendered font, default font is Times New Roman, and it's cool if it works for you, but I'm gonna change it. And the easiest way to change the font in your browser is to go to Google Fonts, choose the one you like. Let me find something trippy. Oh, just nice looking. Oh, this is nice. Aqua. Just sorry. Just click on select this font and get this nice pop-up. And here is your whole instruction. So we have to copy this link and add it to our index.html to make it load the font. Yep. Why is it here? Loading of your CSS should always occur in the head. Sorry for that. Okay, and then you just specify the font family for your page, and for the time being we can use it in HTML, so it will apply to all elements. Okay, bam, and yeah, you have this cool font right now that does look good. And if you can, if you'd like to see it being loaded, actually, you can go to the Network tab to see the resources loaded for your page. And here, if you click on all, you can see that there's HTML being loaded, then CSS, then we have our image being loaded, then we have CSS family Acme being loaded, and it's been requested to our page from the outside world from fonts.googleapis.com. And you can see that we have this nice response. It's being the font definition in CSS. And the font itself, I believe, is the actual font file. This is the definition of the font for the CSS, and this is the actual font file. Okay, so this covers the font, I believe. Now let's talk about dimensions, because all the elements that you see in your screen have some sort of dimension, and just bump it up. If I hover over an element, you can see this little black box with the width and height of the element. Okay, every single one has its dimensions outlined if I hover over it in the developer tools. And if I go to the image, it is also outlined with elements. And as you can probably tell, this image is rather big, and I don't like it that way. So I can go to image selector and say I'd like it to have hard-coded width of something like this. Okay, so I can specify the height and the width using pixels. Okay, and it will shrink the element to fit to that dimensions. Okay, and now we have it. Nice. Okay, but the problem is, as I scale the page, it always stays the same. So often if you'd like to make it shrink and grow, you can use percents, and it will calculate the width and the height based on the width and height of its parent. So if I say 25% and 20%, it will make the image being 25% width and 20% height of its parent, and in this case it's body element. Okay, so let me check that. Okay, and now as I move, you can see it's shrinking and growing. And remember that it takes the value calculated from the parent, in this case the body, which is almost the full screen of our page. But it will change if I decide to group all my elements into a div container. Okay, and I will say that div has a width of 50%. Okay, and now if I reload the page, you can see the image shrinking, because now its width will be calculated based on the div width. Okay, it's much lesser. Okay, because now this div, which has width of 15, okay, is being the parent of an image. So to go back to the previous size, I would have to bump it up twice. it's 50 and 40. Okay, and we're good. Okay, so these are the basics of dimensions of elements. What else? Oh, the dimensions of the font, of course, because as you can see, there's this property here called font size. And if I would like to change it, I'll, of course, use some value to override it. We have some predefined values like small, smaller, medium, large, etc. You can always use just simple pixels, so let's do 12 pixels, and this will work too. Or we can use em and rem values, and I believe I will explain them along the way. Okay, let's not bother ourselves with that right now. And now we come to the, well, it's 21 minutes already. Okay, now we will discuss next important properties in the next video, because yeah, this one is long enough. See you then. Ciao.